Hey friends, it's Rick. I'm back with another video for Missing Stamps. Today we're going to make a Valentine shaker card using some products from Missing Stamps. It's going to be a borderless shaker with a postage coffee theme. So this is what we're going to make. And it's going to have this one of the cute little images on the inside as well. So let's get started. All right, for the card, you're going to need a couple things. You're going to need your focal stamp set for your stamps. This is the, where is it at? I think it's Love Coffee. I have everything linked and listed below, but I'm also going to add in the postmark stamp set as well. We're going to be using the Drawn Hearts Stencil and the Postage Seal Shaker Collection die set. We're going to make our shaker with these parts and pieces. So we're going to get started on that. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to build up our pieces first. So I've got a piece of white cardstock for my stenciling. And I've got another piece that is cut slightly, like just a smidge smaller than 4 by 5 1/4. That's going to be for our panel. And then this we're going to stamp our little images on and cut that out. So we're going to do our stamping first. So let's get our stamp set. We're going to do most of our stamping first. We're going to stamp our little coffee and our sentiment first. I'm going to place that right there. I'm going to do a couple of the little hearts. We're using this mug today. The first one I used this stamp first on that first card. We're going to use this stamp on this card. So we're going to stamp in some alcohol marker friendly ink. And then I'm going to move that to the side because we're going to cut that out and we'll do the other steps in just a second. All right, I'm going to go ahead and die cut this out so that we can do our other parts and pieces of our shaker card. So for that, I'm going to take the smallest postage right there. All right, I'm pulling up my little mat because I'm going to add some ink blending to our stamped image, and I'm going to use abandoned coral and worn lipstick for this. I'm going to also use these same colors on our stenciling. So I'm going to come down from the top with our worn lipstick. And then I'm going to come up from the bottom with the abandoned coral. And then we will give that a nice blend together. I'm going to set this to the side for a second. I'm going to go ahead and pull in my little panel here. And we're going to get our hand-drawn heart stencil. And we're going to go ahead and stencil our background panel as well. So we'll lay that on top. And this time I'm going to start in the middle-ish. I'm going to come up and let this get lighter and fade out towards the top. Just let it create its own little ink blended ombre. So we're going to ink blend that. And then I'm going to come up from the very bottom with my abandoned coral. And I will blend this up into our worn lipstick. And then we will blend those two together where there's a seamless transition. There's our background. Here's our focal image. Now I'm going to take a water brush or a glitter pen, and I'm going to add a little bit of liquid into our little hearts. because I'm going to bleach those out. Do want to stay within the lines. So we're going to go ahead and color it up as well. We're going to do just a little simple coloring. Just going to add a little color right there. I'm going to switch over to one of my other little colors here. I'm using my Olo markers today. And as we're coloring, you can see that heart starting to lighten up a little bit more. And that was RV 0.4 and 0.6. Now I'm going to use R 0.4 and 0.3. I'm going to blend these two together. Come in with our lightest color. Then we're going to color up our little coffee. There's all of our coloring. Now I'm going to stamp my sentiment on this as well. So I'm going to line that up. And we will stamp that down. I'm going to use VersaFont Not Turn ink. This is a good ink for sentiments. While I have my stamps out, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the inside of my card base. So I've just got a top folding A2 card base and some pink cardstock. We're going to stamp our other little cups on the inside of our card. I'm going to stamp it in worn lipstick this time. Make sure we get everything stamped in there. Okay, our inside matches our outside. And then we're also going to go ahead and stamp our postage as well. I'm going to add our little 25 cents. I'm going to go ahead and layer up our outside and our inside piece for our little stamp. We're going to flip it over. We're going to line up our postage for our focal image. And I'm just going to take some tape and tape that into place. I'm also going to go ahead and add our foam tape to the back of our stamp because we're going to pop it up. So I'm just going to line that up. That way all of this will be ready to go when we build up our other parts of our card. So we're going to add, don't want it to sag, so I'm going to add a couple pieces. There we go. So that's going to be ready to go. Now I did cut out I know this is going to be hard to see, I cut out my pocket, and you want a thinner window sheet. The one that I first cut it out from was super thicker, and it didn't do very well. So you do want to use a thinner plastic to cut this part out. Now we're going to add some tape to that. So I'm going to use red line tape. And I'm just going to run it on the side little flaps. I will do that to all 4 sides. So I've got that on there. I'm going to go ahead and run my bone folder across each of those pieces of tape. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to stamp some in the background with our postage stamp set. Make it a little bit different from our first card that I made off camera. And it'll give us a little bit more interest on our card. So we're going to stamp a couple of the Happy Mail. We'll stamp some of the little cancellation marks as well. Just in our background. I'm going to add some hearts into some of our postage. Do first class. And we'll stamp a couple of the forevers around. All right, now we're going to take our pocket and we are going to pull up the backings. So I'm going to go ahead and add this in. Make sure I have it turned right. And we're going to go ahead and do our bottom one. So I'm going to fold that up. And then I'll peel that away. Then I'll go ahead and do this side. So our corners should matter right together. We'll peel that backing off. This is the hardest part. All right, we're going to go ahead, open up our pocket. I've got some sequins mix that I have had forever. So we're going to add that in. I will flip this over. I'll fold that in. Up under our tape there. There is our shaker pocket. So we're going to add that to our card front. So I'm going to add tape to the back of that. I'm going to go around the edge with the red line tape. Add that on. We're going to add a little bit down the center as well. So that it is nice and stuck to our card. We'll add that. I'll take and press that down. I'm going to remove these backings. All right, I've got all the backing papers off. I'm going to go ahead around and add a little bit of liquid glue so that I have a little wiggle room to get everything lined up correctly. And I'm going to stand this up. I'll stand that up and I can get everything sandwiched together. So there is our shaker card. Now we're going to add our focal image. So I've already put foam tape on the back, like y'all saw. And we will add this to our center of our card. And then I did cut out, because that die set cuts out some of the cancellation marks. I did cut a couple of those out from just some silver cardstock, gold cardstock. So I'm going to add just some liquid glue behind this. And then I'll add these down onto our little postage. And no, Rick could not find his reverse tweezers, or we would have used those. So we'll go ahead and add that one. Then I'm going to take a gel pen and add some highlights to our stamped images. I'll go ahead and add some to our first card as well. All right, my friends, here is a look at both of our shakers that I made using products from Miss Ink Stamps. There's a look at the one we made together. There's a look at that inside. Here's a little one I made beforehand using the same products, and look at that inside. If you need any of the products, you'll find them all linked and listed in the video description below. I'll see you in the next video right over there. Bye, guys. Stay crafty. Love you.